Today is Wednesday, May 3rd, 2017. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor Game Changers Week 9.
This episode was titled Reinventing How This Game is Played, and a bit of a departure with the title.
Yep.
Took it from the answer to the puzzle.
Game, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of it being a quote that someone offered.
Kierhofer's crew gets credit for the title.
Ah, okay. Previously on Survivor, Zeke and Andrea faced off. It looked like the first majority alliance of 6 was unstoppable, but a crack appeared. A crack named Sarah. And Sarah turned the table. Yeah, I did. Sarah turned the tables on them and sent Debbie packing, shocking the 4, we're told. And indeed, Brad concurs when they get back to camp that night by saying, "I'm in shock."
Yeah, Ty actually said, "Okay, bravo, guys." And
Cirie said, "This is the most quiet it's ever been after a tribal council."
Well, I imagine they were all in shock that it actually worked.
What do you think about Sarah choosing to just go right out there with that? I'm the one who flipped on you.
Yeah, I first thought, where's she going with that? Why is she telling?
Seems like a little salt in the wound, right?
Yeah. However, then she kind of said, she wanted credit for it when it came time for the jury.
Right.
So, I don't know, that might have been a little bit premature, but maybe not. We'll see.
Sierra wanted to know why Debbie, and Zeke answered back, well, Debbie was in charge. Which I don't think he thought that, but I think he was saying that just to aggravate her and Brad a little bit. I think we hear Michaela
we all
say...
thought Debbie was in charge.
Yeah, Michaela. I think we hear Michaela say, now that was a game changer. Cirie comes up and gives Zeke a kiss. Says, yep, we took control.
Well, it seemed to me that Andrea and Michaela were saying that they are both on board with just voting the others off, one after the other.
It's a solid strategy if you can do it, if you can maintain that majority, if you can hold it together. It makes the most sense, logically. The numbers are on your side. Make sure the numbers are really on your side.
Well, and they just pulled off a coup, so they're feeling very powerful in this moment.
But Cirie tells us, all it takes is a second. Make one wrong move, and then you're on the jury.
Yep, you're sitting on the jury, and you don't even know how you got there.
A little foreshadowing for what's going to happen as this episode goes along.
Yep.
Okay, so we cut in day 27 right to the award challenge. Got 2 teams of 5. There's obstacles you're going to have to go over to get into the chair. We've seen this challenge before.
Yep.
Where they lift them up in the chair and they have to get the letters, which are also numbered, and they have to get them in order. So it's go up, go down, move left, move right.
Yeah, that's the bad part.
Lifting the weight of the different.
You'd think by the third
castaways.
person you could just grab all of them, but you still have to go in order.
In order, yeah, definitely. So big stakes, ha ha ha. There's no pun there, but it's quite the reward. They get to go to a resort.
Sound punny to me.
Yeah, and you made it worse. Good job, baby. So they get beef kebabs, they get chicken wraps, there's cheesecake. It's an overnight stay, and they get to sleep in a real bed. Cirie quips, this is not real life. I thought that was her playing to the camera quite a bit. It's a goofy thing to say. I don't know. Where did that come from?
Okay.
She's mugging for the camera. Good for her.
Orange
she got her
Tribe.
camera time and got to show her nails again.
Hush. Orange Tribe. We have Troy, Cirie, Sierra, Michaela, and Ty. And for the Blue Tribe, or group, whatever, for this challenge. Team. Brad, Andrea, Aubrey, Zeke, and Sarah. So Brad's the only one that's not like the others, as far as we know. He's out of the alliance.
Gotcha.
But that's perfect for Brad.
Michaela actually beat Culpepper through the obstacle course to get to the chair, but that blue team did a much better job, and Culpepper gets his first 10 letters ahead of Michaela.
Yeah, basically, they were neck and neck starting the puzzle. Really, by the time
They got
everybody
pretty close.
opened everything, they
Andrea
were
finished
really, really close.
a little before Troy's Ann, and then Sarah, even though she took that big fall going through the obstacle course.
Yeah, they
she
didn't
lost.
seem to. They got there at the same time.
Yeah, so she lost a little bit. Maybe she had of a lead there.
Seconds, maybe.
Yeah, and then so she got there. It took her a couple of trips. Sierra was able to take all her letters in one trip, and they get started on the word puzzle.
So 50 minutes into the word puzzle, they're all just standing there still, puzzled.
Right. Yeah, even they showed at the 15-minute mark, people were writing. First, Aubrey was writing in the sand, and then they show Ty and Troy's Ann writing, trying to come up with things. It was the first 11-letter word, reinventing, had them all stumped.
Well,
So they go from the 15-minute mark out to the 50-minute mark, and Prope starts dropping heavy clues. Didn't say the word, but he was dancing all around it. So
he's like, the sun is getting hot. We're going to be here all day.
Speed it up.
Andrea finally said reinventing.
Yep. And once she got that, they were off to the races. Zeke
Yeah.
just seemed like he blew through the rest of it, and they got a win. They got a win.
They get a one?
Yeah, they won. That was me mixing those together. Just didn't get it all processed in my head before it came out.
That happens frequently, sweetheart.
Culpepper tells us that he is happy. He thinks he's positioned well on this reward, just where he needs to be.
Okay, and Sarah's dream has come true. She has never been in a helicopter before.
I like how she described it. Insane beauty there in Fiji. All the different islands.
Yeah. That can be overwhelming when you have so much incredible. I know that happened to me on a flight. We took a small plane
We always
in
talk about
Alaska.
this. Yeah.
And oh my goodness, it
Sometimes
really was breathtaking, and I cried.
The visuals, yeah, a lot of people did. The visual stimulation can just be overwhelming.
And everyone on the plane was just silent. Even after we landed, we were all just, the emotion was just bubbling over. I'd never experienced anything like that. So otherwise, I would think they were, overreacting. But since I had felt that myself,
You're going to validate it for them.
I'm going to validate it
All
for
right.
'em.
They're not
So
faking
that
for
can
TV,
happen
according to Joanne.
To us real people. Not
All right.
just on TV.
We got plenty of bulas and vanakas when we get off the chopper there, and they get some drinks and come up and see the awesome food that's set up on the Lazy Susan that Zeke discovers. So you can just basically spin to get what you want there.
But you could feel the intensity around Andrea, as she was watching what was happening and the interactions, and especially with Brad and Zeke.
Yeah, Zeke was setting it up for us. He was telling us that at this point in the game, it's like climbing Everest. It just gets harder and harder the closer you get to the end of the game. And Brad seemed like he had a plan. He set that conversation trap perfectly for Zeke, talking about the Oklahoma games, and they were good to go from there. He hadn't seen Zeke's season, but I guess they had talked and knew how big a fan Zeke was with Oklahoma, or something to that extent. It had to come up at some point, because that's really what
It was a bonding point for them.
Andrea keyed in on there, telling us that Zeke should know better, and that made her nervous. I don't know that he was caring too much what she was thinking at that point, but
Not with their rivalry.
okay, we're back. It's day 28. Cirie tells us back at camp that she woke up and she is starving.
No, that was Cirie.
No, it was Cirie. Sierra said that she didn't get any sleep, and that she was humbled in the game at this point. And we have Ty talking to Troy. Ty tells Troy, "I feel doomed," and they both agree to look out for each other. If you hear my name, tell me, and I'll do that for you too.
Sure.
Troy's I thought maybe something was going to happen in the conversation there when Troy said, maybe there's another idol. And Ty seemed to dismiss it pretty quick. But I guess it was just nothing. False alarm. And then the blue team gets back from their reward, and someone's looking at Culpepper and says, you look like you gained 10 pounds.
Well, you notice Aubrey was observing.
She picked up on that quick, yeah.
Yeah.
Or she was talking about it.
She was concerned that they might have bonded.
She probably had been talking to Andrea.
Maybe, maybe not, but
Yep.
they were all concerned about it. So
Andrea gets some time to talk with Cirie, and she starts off, Zeke's going to come for me. And Cirie tells her, well, I got your back. So that's a pretty powerful
whether
team
I do
there.
or not,
Yeah.
got your back. babe.
Andrea's still convinced that Zeke tells us that Zeke's the biggest threat, and Cirie agrees. He's a better player than all of them, she says, yeah.
Well, that he knows more about Survivor than she does, and she's played 4 times.
Right.
So that would make me nervous, too. I think he's tipping his hand a little bit there, which might not have been a good idea.
Yeah, you get the sense, though, he can't help himself when it comes to that.
Well, you know, when
Based
you're
on
a
last
fan
season
and
and
it's
this
so
season.
exciting. And,
Yeah. And he's chomping at the bit to
Yep.
show how good of a player he is.
Yep.
But Cirie tells Andrea, we got to get Sarah on board. And Sarah's really
She's
touchy
right on
about
with
Zeke.
that. Yeah, she knows it. And yet
She goes to have the
she's the one
conversation.
to go talk to her.
Right. Sierra goes and talks to Sarah, and Sarah says, well, I'm not concerned about Zeke because I got a backup plan. And she shares with Cirie the secret advantage.
So do you think
Can
that was
steal
a
a vote.
mistake?
Yeah, I don't know why did she need to do that?
Oh, maybe to explain herself, because I think she does plan to go to the end, at least to the final 5 with Cirie.
I guess if that's the case, then okay.
So she's keeping her close. And because in the end, I'm assuming that Sarah was planning for her and Cirie and Zeke to take out Brad and Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's the other way. I don't know. Maybe she was going with Brad and Troy to take out Zeke and Cirie.
Sarah tells Cirie that Zeke's only going to get to the final 6 and then he's out. But then in her confessional, Sarah tells us that she's got a plan C. She's ready to jump ship to whatever boat will get her further down the river.
I was afraid that was going to get her voted out.
She's ready to sit in the middle. Yeah, the middle could be a dangerous place
if you ride that
called
too
out
long.
for it.
Yeah.
But right now, it seems to be working for her. She says she's going to stay in the middle and pivot as needed. And so that flexibility, that willingness to adapt is certainly critical for success. I do like that part.
I don't know that is even a possibility after. And yes, I jumped to the end of the show, but after this episode, she's going to have the same options. But we'll discuss that later.
Okay, day 29. Zeke notes there's an eerie calm around camp. He can't see the lines, but he's ready to scheme and get things going.
And use his survivor skill sets.
So he goes to have a conversation with Sarah at the well, I guess we'll call it, right? At the watering hole there, where they fill up their canteens. And they settle on a boot order for the next ones to go. Sierra, Andrea, and Ty.
I was like, yes!
Yeah, you had Sierra going, right?
I did, but she's the one they wanted to target before.
Sure.
So
seemed only natural, right?
And I really thought that 6, that all the stuff they showed at the end of last week, I thought, oh, that doesn't mean anything. They just want us to think they're going to do that. So I'm not going to go that way. They were targeting Sierra as the head of the snake before. So I went Sierra. So this made me happy.
I was counting on some need to change, so I pivoted slightly and said that they were going to take out Brad instead.
Well, we had talked, and we both thought it was one or the other.
Sure.
Wrong. And we both got popped to safe point.
Yeah, and Zeke says their final 5 will be Sarah, Zeke, Brad, Troy, and Cirie. And they're talking about the tight bond there is between Andrea and Aubrey. They're going to have to work on that.
I just don't know exactly why they wanted to bring in...
Brad and Troy saying it seemed like it came out of left field, right?
It did to me.
Didn't.
What am I missing?
We didn't get the setup. There's been no build for that.
He doesn't trust Aubrey or Andrea, and obviously not Michaela. I guess maybe he feels like he would trust those two better than the girls.
That question, why or how did he end up with Brad and
Yeah.
Troy? We didn't see that coming, right?
Yeah, I
Certainly something
didn't.
to ask.
Anyway, that Brad tells us, I intend to win this game.
Well, and he's certainly good. He and Troy Xander are quite good when Zeke offers up the final
Yep.
5 option. Yeah. Yeah, well, not only does Brad say that he's here to win, he tells us that he's willing to get rid of Cirie and Ty to do it.
Well, I certainly believe that now. I thought Zeke had made a big mistake, though, when he told them that I can't tell you what the next vote is, but it's not either one of you. And I thought, why would you tell them that? Because if they do have the idols and they are not telling you the truth, then they go back to camp and, play those idols, and they could still use that information to narrow down who gets an idol.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
could still backfire.
I don't know, but he's not telling for exactly the reason you said, so that no one will know where to play an idol
But-
to get control back.
But here's the reality. And they probably don't know that Ty has to, but he does. So if they weren't 100% with Zeke and they go back and tell them, then Ty just plays the idol for himself and Cirie, and somebody on the other side's going home.
Which is why you don't tell them exactly what your plan is. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think he made a mistake telling them it wasn't those two, because it's 2 out of 4. So anyway, that's how I see it.
Could have still been someone else, even in their alliance. I guess.
Immunity challenge, dominoes.
Yeah. First, Probst tells Troyzan he has to spin and grin to give that immunity necklace back. That was different. Spin and grin. All right. That seemed to crack Troyzan up. Yeah, this is a classic one where they have to set up the blocks to tip them over like dominoes to get them to fall down onto a gong. And there's this lattice work that you have to step through.
Everybody did really good. We only saw Brad drop.
Yeah, the lattice work, it comes up like right about middle of your knee, it seemed like. And I think they have it adjusted, so that it's relative to each person's height.
Well, they would have to. Certainly what would work well for Cirie wouldn't work for Ty. So that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, Andrea's in the lead or tied for the lead most of the way through. And
Yeah.
she gets all her blocks up and realizes she's way short, so she has to start restacking them so that she can be at least assured that it'll win. So she stacks it to make sure that the very end one will fall over when it gets hit onto the gong, but she's got to reorient them all while Michaela and Sarah and Cirie work to catch up with her, but not enough. Andrea ends up winning. She gets hers reoriented in time. So it's
Yeah, they were all pretty close. Could have gone.
A lot quicker working backwards through the stack like that than it is having to go back and forth.
I really liked
less
it.
risk.
I'm surprised they didn't show us Michaela doing hers because she was so close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they showed Zeke
I
trip
know
his.
Zeke did, yeah.
I thought he said it wasn't good.
No, he said it was.
He said it was? Okay.
Yes,
all
he
right.
said it would have worked. He said, well, it would have worked if he could have gotten there.
I thought he had said just the opposite.
No, he didn't.
Cirie tells us in a confessional after the challenge that she really needed that today. So, not sure what she's going to do. Guess what we're treated to before we get back to camp? Images of
Sharks.
School of Fish and sharks. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't remember. I just knew from the way you were saying it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, I had said, soon as that ended, I said, Andrea's she's going to feel more powerful now.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's got the necklace. She's going to want to go back to this and make a big move because she's feeling more powerful.
Yep. You were sensing your point slipping away as she called an audible to switch from Cirie to Zeke.
I was like, no.
Tells us it's brilliant to get him at this point. Brilliant. That's how she wants it to be scored.
Well, I thought it was funny when she repeated that right after I just said that. And
So
Sarah,
Andrea's going over the plan with Sierra and to blindside Zeke, and Cirie again points out, well, we got to figure out Sarah. We got to get her on board. And then they were looking for an alternate. I think that's when they said Sierra may vote with us, and who comes walking up the trail but Sierra, who pledges her allegiance to him, tells them, I'll mark my vote so you know which one it is, and you'll know that I have kept my word. I'll put a star on it.
And yet, she didn't vote with them. Why do you think that was?
Well, I think she voted the way she was told, and she did indicate she marked it.
So
But she didn't vote with them. They didn't trust her.
So they didn't tell her who was the vote.
Right.
They just told her to vote for Ty.
It was a test.
Well, she passed. Okay. And at least Sarah was willing to listen.
Right. Sierra cautioned Andrea when Sarah came walking up the trail after they had talked to Sierra and told Andrea, be easy, and how you talk to Sarah. And it seemed very heavy-handed the way she was laying it out. And Sarah didn't seem to be on board, but she did tell us that
she
she's
said
willing to keep her mouth shut.
She said
she was going to commit.
But I wasn't sure she was going to do that. I thought she was going to scramble for something else, but she couldn't take Andrea out. But I was actually surprised that she did vote Zeke in the end, but she did. I think she kind of thought, I can't put my neck out there any further to save Zeke and ruin my other alliances, is probably. Or she's going to, get in trouble with too many people.
Andrea's working her plan now. She goes to Aubrey and Michaela and lays it out. Zeke is the smartest. We need to strike before he comes after us.
Aubrey's totally on board. I'm
Michaela's
sure she's
not, though.
He doesn't like
Michaela
her.
tells us she didn't want
Were you surprised?
to go after Zeke.
Yeah, I was. I was surprised. It's like, what happened to your, as long as it's not me? Okay. I never noticed
She
she
said
had
that she
any,
felt like she could trust him to a degree, so
yeah, I
they
guess
must have had
good
some
on
good
him.
discussions that we just didn't get to see.
Good on him. He made her feel that way.
Right.
And so he must have done that well, because she's not very trusting, typically. With
Michaela and Sarah have a talk, and they both agree that this doesn't make sense. It's not the logical best choice for them.
Yeah.
Cutting it so that there'll be a 5-4 and one person can swing away.
Well, Sarah said that, and as she was, that's why I didn't think it was going to go down that way. So it still blindsided me, because I didn't believe it that she was on board and going to do it.
Right. Likewise with Michaela. You never quite know what she's going to do
I
either.
know.
She didn't seem interested in it.
Obviously, I never know what anyone's
Off to tribal council. Well, they always try to keep us guessing, keep it fun and interesting for us.
Well, they do a good job for me.
Yeah, it works for you and me, doesn't it? Okay, our jury comes in. Debbie gives a quick smile.
And Sarah says again about how she owned up to flipping. Let's make sure the jury knows.
They return to camp in a complete silence. Yeah, she wants credit. Debbie gave her credit.
Don't get Debbie's vote.
Debbie gave her
for
credit
sure.
in the form of double birds. I believe that was what was being blurred out. Culpepper acknowledges that he is indeed now on the bottom. Ty tells us, no one tells me anything.
Well, I thought it was Ty that said he felt on the bottom.
Well, after Culpepper, he did. He said no one tells him anything. And then Sierra acknowledges, yep,
That
we're
really
the bottom four.
kind of surprised me, because
Russian roulette.
I knew that Brad had gotten closer to Troy, but I don't know. I just really thought Ty was number 3, and obviously I was wrong. Troy was number 3. Or maybe they're number 1 and 2, and Sierra's number 3. Now I have no idea.
Right. We try to piece together how we think things are structured based on what we get in the edit, but it's often very little to go on.
But Sierra knows she's in the bottom 4, which is all she needed to know.
She acknowledged she may be she may go tonight.
Well, and Andrea is, I think, reassuring Zeke in that she's assuming that the 6 are still voting together. And Zeke tells us, now is not the time to make a move.
Right.
And Cirie talked about they were still running the numbers even as she spoke.
Yeah, the grid's always in flux, she
happening.
said. Yeah.
And Sarah can't listen to the other four because they have good points, but they're trying to sell themselves right now, Jeff.
Yeah, she says no one goes out of their way to make a bad pitch. So, yeah. What did you think about how it ended? Michaela is talking about you can be friends after day 39. And so Andrea jumps on that and says, no, you need to keep your heart turned on. You don't want to be a game bot. You don't want this to feel like chess pieces.
I thought Andrea should have kept that to herself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's telling how Michaela's choosing to play the game. Okay, great. She just gave you some information. She's not going to play with her heart. But why would Andrea say something to alienate?
Right.
Or that could even alienate, whether it did or it didn't. It certainly could. Say, oh, no, she's wrong, and you have to have friends out here. You can't turn your heart off. And I thought, okay.
She really played it up.
Alrighty then. So I think they're probably all playing to the jury somewhat now.
Certainly.
Since there is a jury, you have to play to the jury.
Were you surprised there were no idols played?
I really was. I thought Ty would play.
I did
Why
too.
wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I did not understand
Where
that.
did his sense of security come from?
Did someone from the other place say, we've told them to vote for you, Ty? Are they keeping Ty, kind of working him already and going, yeah, they're going to vote, but don't worry. Don't worry, it's not going that way. You're safe.
We end up with 3 votes for Ty, 2 votes for Cirie, and 5 votes for Zeke. Zeke is out. And Michaela looked like she was crying at the end of that. Pretty upset.
Yeah, but she voted for him.
Yeah.
And so I guess...
Not sure what to make of that.
She wasn't going to play with her heart.
Yeah, it seemed awfully
you're crying
hardy.
over your votes.
Yeah, either that or it was a good fake on her part.
Maybe what that really was just her explaining to Zeke that she couldn't play with her heart. Mm-hmm. She really liked him, but she can't play with her heart.
Right.
Maybe that's all that she was doing.
So she turned it on
there.
so she could let go of that.
I guess so.
And now she's going to turn it back off
I
again.
just cut his throat.
Yeah, so Andrea, Cirie, Michaela, Sarah, and Aubrey voted for Zeke. Zeke voted for Cirie, and so did Ty. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where Ty's sense of security came from.
I don't know either. That's why I was guessing.
Cirie, Troy, and Brad voted for Ty, I assume, as they were told, as a test.
Oh, you know why Ty felt secure is Troy and Brad assured him they were voting Cirie with the others. Everyone was voting Cirie. We're going to vote with them. Let's all 3 vote with them. So we tell them we're with them. And that's how they got him to vote.
So
Cirie,
not unlike the Michaela...
And not one of them.
Not unlike the Michaela and Andrea exchange, we get Haley in the jury saying game changers at the end, and then Debbie just says idiots.
No, idiots. They're not game changers, they're idiots.
Right.
Yep, they did.
Okay, anything else you want to say
Zeke
about that?
was cordial, keep playing hard gang. No, that is what it is with the Debbie Haley. Next on Survivor, Cirie shares about her legacy advantage with Sarah.
Yeah, which gets her...
Yeah, what is that going to get her?
Maybe some trust from Sarah. It seemed like it had an impact on Sarah.
That or...
Because Sarah knows how she had used her secret advantage to help build trust with Cirie.
Well, she tried it anyway, but why wouldn't she also think that Sarah could go, oh, we've got to get, or Sarah could say, we have to get Cirie out before she can use this at Final 5. So we can't let her stay in the game to the end.
Well, it's not Final 5.
She has to use it at 5 or 6. It's 6. It was 6 and 13.
Right.
Okay, so there's 9 in there now. They have to get her out before
there you go.
She can use it. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I just said it wrong, but okay.
Probst tells us there's the possibility of a new alliance forming, and then, boom, family visit coming.
Oh.
At which point Sarah looked like she broke down, had a big emotional impact on her.
Yeah,
so.
that's gonna be tough.
All right, get your
because-
tissues out for the next episode. You might want to get an extra box.
Oh.
You've been warned.
So I guess we're gonna get to see Monica.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, joy. Yeah, we will. Excellent.
Oh, she's not so bad. I just never warmed up to her.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
All right. Anything else?
Now, how about a JSFL update?
Okay, we still have 2 people tied for first with 49 points. 31 people lost their USB. 87 people lost a safe point, me and you.
Mm-hmm.
73 people earned a vote-off point.
Good job.
As far as the side challengers, Iron Dave is still in first with 43, and Jeremiah's nipping at his heels with 42. With 40, we have Drew, Nina, and Stacy. 39, Cold Mike and Hubbaloo. 38, James and Shannon and Jonathan. 37, Brandon, Jody, and Parker. And 36, Seth.
All right. Good job, everyone, in that side challenge. I really like where you all are.
Oh, shut up.
Speaking of JSFL, we got the technical difficulties resolved, so the listener reward bonus question is back on. So as you go to make your picks this week, there's the opportunity, if you know the answer or can find the answer to this question, to earn an extra point. Question again is, what did Ozzy say was his favorite challenge this season? So don't overthink it. It's a very straightforward answer. It's very clear.
Simple.
Yes. And that's worth an extra point in JSFL.
Yeah, I'm going to get it.
And if you had previously answered it last week when we had the technical difficulties, that answer is already been carried over. So you just want to double check and make sure that you've answered the question.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to say about that?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so we've got an interview with Zeke tomorrow. We got to go work on some questions for that. But then we're looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode and what predictions you have, what we may expect next, what new alliance is going to form, and how much longer are we going to have to wait before we see those idols get played and those advantages kick in, well, the secret advantage to kick in, and who do you think's the next to go, and who's your favorite to win it at this point? And just a quick note, the listener feedback show is going to be put out on Sunday this week.
But the deadline is still on Saturday.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some traveling, but I won't be able to get it all together and put out there until I get back home on Sunday.
Well, you'll be pulling stuff together. That's why we're going to go ahead and leave the deadline the same, so you can try to.
But we won't
while
do the
you're
recording
waiting
until
for
Sunday.
things, you will.
So feedback's due
smart.
Saturday, same time as always. Let's just keep it that way. Saturday noon Pacific time. Voicemail line 206-350-1547. There's a toll-free version, 844-643-8737. The email, joanneandstacyshow@gmail.com. You can always record your own and send it in. If you're not happy with your voice, then you can write it up, and either Joanne or I will read it into the show for you. Always keep in mind that we're looking for 3 minutes or less. Anything else we need to add?
No, I was already.
You're looking at the roster?
I was pondering the roster.
How do you think it's going to shape up?
Man, I don't know. I think there's still going to be some switch-ups. You would think normally at this point that, okay, you've got this solid group of 5 women. They're going to hang in there, go to the end, and punch it out. I don't know that that's going to happen.
No, I think it's playing out pretty much like Zeke described. The deck's reshuffling after every vote out.
I'm concerned that Brad will get through somehow.
Mm-hmm.
At this point...
Why is that a bad thing?
Because I would rather see Ty. If someone from that group is going to sneak through, I'd rather it was Ty rather than Brett. Not that Brett hasn't played a great game. I think he has, and if he gets there, he deserves the win. So I don't have a problem with that. I'm
You're
just
saying
saying
you would enjoy Ty winning more? Is that
I
what you're
like
saying?
it that Ty has not blabbed about his idols.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting on them. He's thinking about himself, which he often doesn't always.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just taking one for the team all the time, and I'm
Are you
happy
saying you
to see
think
him.
Ty has changed his game? Is that
I
what
do.
you're saying?
I think he's a game changer.
He's gone
Or-
through a metamorphosis?
Yeah.
Are we
Anyway.
seeing the reinventing of Ty?
I mean, I'd still rather see Cirie win, or
Okay.
Cirie would. You know, I would love to see Cirie win.
You're going to have to rank them. Let's do 1, 2, and
Okay.
3 for you.
Actually, number one, even though she's not my USB, and my USB is still in there, I still would. I would be excited to see Cirie win.
Okay.
Then I guess I would have to go to Aubrey just because she's
All right.
my USB.
Does that make Ty the number 3?
That would make. Sarah's deserving. Let's put Sarah 3, and then we go to Ty 4, and then I don't care after that. So that's my top ones. That's what
Gotcha.
I'm saying.
Sounds good. We look forward to hearing who your top picks are. Who would you most like to see in an order 1, 2, 3, or even 4? Anything else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's my top 4.
Anything else you'd like to add to our recap episode here?
Nope.
Have a good one. May the 4th be with you.